Right, on to the next part of this little project. We're going to make the nut that tightens up the quick disconnect. Tries to take a little bit of the wiggle out of the wheel that everyone complains about. The nut tightens tightens via these threads right here, squashes this washer into this little rubber squishy element that I guess tightens up the wheel. So let's get into it. I've got a drawing of it since I've already modeled it. I'm going to create the basic profile, the basic 3D body with a revolve. So at this point we can hide all the items we've created so far. Let's bring the origin back. We're going to do a sketch alongside the z-axis. Okay, let's make sure. Yeah, okay, so that way. All right, so it's going to be, call it 60 millimeters in diameter. The large diameter, and the smaller diameter is going to be, call it 34. The height of the larger diameter will be 15. We can make it exactly 14.86, and then another 4.83 of the smaller diameter. So we'll start our sketch wherever, and that was what? That was 58 millimeters. So 58 divided by 2, 29. It's going to go up 14.86. This is going to come out 17. Up 4.83. And back. We can close off that sketch and go ahead and revolve it. Or finish the sketch. Go ahead and revolve it. Select the two sketch profiles around this axis. There we go. We have the general shape of it. Now it's got these indentations in it, 7 of those, and it's also got a bit of a curve. Just at the edge of those indentations on the top and bottom. So I've already modeled this part, and I found that it's going to be easier to model this curve first. In fact, I probably should have done it when I did the sketch. So let's go back and edit this sketch, and I want to do a construction line midway up this guy, just for a reference line, because I'm going to do a sketch. I'm going to edit this sketch, and I'm going to want to mirror it top and bottom. I'll do a fit point spline from here to say here. Let's tweak it a little bit. Make sure our sketch selection filters are selected. That's probably going to do it. Probably don't need to spend a whole lot of time on it. I'm sure that'll be fine. Okay. So before we finish the sketch, oops, I want to make that an actual line, not a construction line. So I want to mirror that along this construction line that we made that's halfway between this line and this line. Boom, there we go. And then I want to trim off the excess here. Trim that there, trim that there. Maybe fillet this just a little so it's not a sharp edge. 1/4 of a millimeter. and do this 1/4 millimeter as well. Now you'll see when I finish this sketch, the 3D body will reflect the edits we've made to that sketch. Pretty handy. Okay, so now we've got basically the gist of that knob. We just need to make the 7 indentations here that you can grab onto when you're turning it. So, one thing I have done already off camera is I've taken a picture of the wheel, of the wheelbase, straight on, so we can actually see the outline of that wheel nut. So I've already calibrated the image. If you need any help on that, I'll do a video specifically on canvases and calibrating them. I think I've done it in a previous video as well, but anyway, I'm not going to spend that much time on it right now. So I've calibrated this canvas, so the outer diameter of this nut is about 60 millimeters, which is the same as the locking collar that sits behind it, that keeps the quick disconnect assembly attached to the wheel. So about a 60 millimeter diameter on this nut, on the OD. So let's hide the actual body of the nut. Or actually, shame on me. Let's make a component out of it first. I should have done that before I actually created it, but whatever. Call it nuts. Activate it. I'm gonna keep it activated. I'm gonna hide that body, and I'm gonna keep this canvas showing. So let's do a sketch with that component activated on this plane, doesn't matter. 60 millimeters. Now when I'm thinking about modeling this, I know that there are 7 of these indentations. So we want to see 360 divided by 7, about 51.43. We'll call it 51.42. So we don't go more than 360 degrees. So 51.42. What I think I will do is use construction lines to pie this off. Okay, there. Actually, no, I'm going to do an arc. Let's do an arc. Center point arc from here. 51.42 degrees. Looks good. I'm going to do another arc. Right there. And then what I'll do is bisect those arcs so I can make this profile here, and then we can mirror it to the other side. So this is what, this is 1/14 of the circle. This is 1/7 of the circle. So we're going to make this part of the half of an indentation, mirror it across here, and then we're going to pattern it 7 times. So let's get to that. I'm going to uncheck construction line because we're going to want an actual curve here. Okay, we can drag these around a little. All right, that looks good. I want to mirror that across this line. Oops. Across that line. Okay. And then I want to do an arc to connect those two guys. Oops. All right, so we've got this sketch profile right here that we're going to pattern 7 times. And we're going to use that sketch profile to do a split body and cut off, you can't see where I'm pointing, to cut off these indented parts of the nut. So while we're still in editing the sketch, we're going to do a circular pattern. I already have the sketch objects selected. Center point, of course, will be the center of this. You can see right now I have quantity 3 selected, so it's going to show 3 of those. Let's crank that up to 7, and it visually should make sense. That looks pretty good. All right, finish sketch. There we go. Let's bring that body back. Now I'm going to do a split body. Select that 3D body we created, and the splitting tools will be the 7 sketches that we just created, the 7 sketch profiles. Now we can hide this body because it's getting a little too hard to select those sketch profiles. Okay. Let's bring that body back. All right, have extend splitting tools selected, hit OK. Now let's go ahead and remove the 7 bodies that were created because of course we don't need those anymore. Hide that sketch. You know what? I'm going to go back and edit that first sketch that we made, that revolve, and I'm going to take this fillet out, and I'm going to do that because when I go to try to fillet this edge right here, it's transversing over this fillet, and it's going to make me want to chamfer that. It's not even, mathematically, it won't even work. So, okay, I can't even show you. So let's edit this sketch and delete that chamfer, or that fillet rather. Okay, sorry about that. That looks much better. Now I should be able to fillet those edges without much hassle. Select all of them. Two more. All right. That looks pretty good. Now I can go back in and fillet all these edges. Be a bit of a pain to select them all, but I don't know that there's any better way. All right, what? 0.2 millimeter, 0.25 millimeter. That looks good. 0.25 millimeter. Let's do the bottoms. I'm gonna hide that canvas. We don't need that anymore. Oh, shoot. I think that's all of them. 0.25 millimeter. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to... Now I'm going to do another sketch. I'm going to do a sketch on this face. And we're going to make it 28 millimeters because that was the outside diameter of the threading on the main shaft here. So this nut is going to thread along these threads here, and that was a 28 millimeter by 1.5 millimeter thread pitch. So let's keep that hidden. Take that sketch and extrude it all the way through. Good. Hide that sketch. It is hidden. It is not hidden. Oh, I needed to scroll down to see it. All right, great. I'm going to go ahead and hide the origin as well so we don't have to see that. And then we're going to do a thread operation on this face. And like I said, that was a 28 millimeter thread. It's automatically selected in the size field because it's in a 28 millimeter hole. The thread pitch is 1.5 millimeter. Direction is right hand, sure. Okie doke. That looks pretty decent. Now if we show the main shaft there, we can move our nut back a little bit. You can see it looks like it's gonna, if it were a piece in real life, it looks like it would thread just fine on there. All right, we can go ahead and show our other couple of items that we've already modeled. Activate the main main design, the parent component of the whole design, so you can see all of the items here. And yeah, that looks good. Gonna go ahead and hit A and apply the same texture to it. All right, that looks good for now. I think that's the end of that part. So almost 20 minutes. I'll end this part of the project and we'll do another video for the remaining parts.